Okay, first thing on this recording is that Thursday I won't be here. Thursday I've got a neurology appointment at HKL, and they get to examine my head to see whether or not my brain's still in there. But yeah, I'm seeing a new neurologist, and I don't know, he or she may be wanting me to do another MRI, which I hate MRIs. I don't know if anyone's ever gone through an MRI, but you got to stay perfectly still with your head in a cage for 45 minutes. And it's a pretty tough thing to do for me. It's real claustrophobic. Some people can fall asleep. I can't fall asleep. But regardless, Thursday I will be at HKL probably most of the day. So I don't have any slides for today. So really, the only thing you're going to have to go by is the software, and you can download the software from the course website. That's a version that supposedly will work. Or you can go to the Logic Pro website itself and download a full version with a 15-day timeout, and that would be enough to get you through the assignments. So you can either go the one route, which I won't talk too much about, where you can from the course website, or you can go and get the software now. I went and got this full version of the software. It's called Logic Pro Simulator. And what this particular software is it allows you to simulate the use of a PLC right there. So, and I'm going to, on simulations, the one I'm going to start with and what I'm going to do today is what they call the door simulator right there. And what it is, and I'm going to go back and forth between these two windows. This is a door, garage door, right here. And we've got various inputs and outputs shown here. Now these are the inputs and outputs to the PLC. If I bring up the I/O simulator, this shows all my various inputs and outputs for the PLC that there. These equate to I/O modules on a PLC, and I showed you a picture of what a PLC looks like. They plug in, there's the frame, there's the CPU module, and then there's various inputs and output simulators we will be using the BCD simulator that allows you to input binary numbers between 0 and 15 right there. So those are typically used with, there's also analog inputs that we don't have, this particular simulator doesn't support analog inputs, but we're just going to be using these inputs and outputs right here. So we've got input 1, output 2, these are the address, I:1, O:2, I:3, out:2. So this has got 2 input modules and 2 output modules right there. And each module has 16 inputs or outputs right there. So now we could start with this right here, and these are various switches where we could simulate. It's a little easier, I think, at first, instead of trying to simulate this arbitrary system right there, is to start off with a practical example. And our practical example is right here, the door simulator. Here, okay. And here's our door simulator. And what this door simulator is this actually would be similar to what you might find at a garage right there. And this might be similar to like my garage door at home. Right there. Back in the U.S., they're not common here, but back in the U.S., most people who had more modern homes had attached garages with garage door openers where you didn't have to get out of your car. And I comment the fact that I grew up in Minnesota, but I lived in Indiana. But Indiana has snow in the wintertime. It could be quite cold. It could have rain. And in January, when it's minus 15 degrees outside, and your car is a nice toasty, 30, well, not 30, you wouldn't heat it up that much, but 22, 23 degrees, it's nice and toasty inside your car. The last thing you want to do is get out of your car and reach and open the garage door, right? So you push a button on your dashboard and then the garage door opens automatically, right? And the same thing when you get ready to leave, you would open your garage door before you leave the car. So we've got 3 buttons right here. These are connected, and I know that they're buttons because they're connected to the input module I1 port 0, I1 port 1, I1 port 2. Right there. Well, these are my 3 buttons, and they will open the garage door, they will close the garage door, and they will stop the garage door. Now, right now, they won't do anything because I have to program this. These are just tied to my method. I've got 3 LEDs or 3 lights that tell me whether the garage door is ajar, whether it's all the way open, or whether it's all the way closed. Now again, I have to program those. They don't do anything. Now over here, I've got 2 inputs. One input tells me that my garage door is all the way open, right there. And another input that tells me it's all the way closed. Then I've got 2 motors right here. Motor 0, 2, or output 2, port 0 is my up motor, and my down motor is output. So now I need to come up with a way of that there. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a very simple one where when I push the up button right there, the open button, I'm just going to call it out, but the open button, it opens the garage door. So it's going to, as I hold the button, it's going to open that there. So I'm going to go through it and I'm going to, and again, I'm going to have to switch back through this here. This here is how I draw my circuit. Now again, I don't have slides for these. You can find videos elsewhere on YouTube, or you can use this video on how to do this. So I'm going to put an input. This is my input right here. And this is a normally open input. So I have to push it in order to make it that there. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my motor, and my up motor is 0200. I'll go back to, let me just put it there for now. This is how we do an output right there. So now I'm just going to label these inputs, or label this input and label this output. This particular circuit is far from done. I'm just going to go through this incrementally, and I will probably finish the hour up today doing this right there. And then what I'm probably going to have you do for an assignment is replicate it right there. So this right here, I double click on this, and this is I:1/00 right there. That's my open button right there. This is my up motor. So O:2/00 right there. Now, when I run this, when I push the button, the door will go up. Now, when I take my finger off the button, it will stop. If I don't take my finger off the button, it won't stop when it reaches the top and will burn out. Yeah, we've got some more things we need to do to it. We need to latch it while the motor's up, and we need to put our stop buttons and stuff in. So let's go through here, and now we need to simulation setting if I can remember how to do this. All right, this little button here goes between the edit that there, and we need to download this. So it's downloaded that, and then we put it in run mode right there. So now it's running. So when I push the button right here, come down here, and I push the open button, it starts going up. I take my finger off the button, it stops right there. And you'll notice that there's nothing to stop it once it reaches the top. And our simulator just tells us we set up a fire right there. It's a cute little simulator. That there. So clean up. So let's go ahead and let's put this sensor in here, and we're going to put this in a normally closed position right there. So let's go back to program right here. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in right here. And we're going to call this I1/03, right? So now you'll notice that it's yellow right now. That tells you that it's active. So now when I run this, first I need to download it. Run it. And now when I hit the open button, maybe that, you know what? I bet you I screwed up. Change to a normally open button. Let's see if that's what's going on. Sometimes, I'm running the simulation, and it doesn't tell you whether it's a normally open or a normally closed switch. So this may be a switch that there. So let's download it, run it. Okay, now it's highlighted. So yeah, so now it's active. So now when I open the button, open it. And why isn't my door opening? That's weird. It shows both active. All right, it shows this is active right there. Okay, I don't know what, evidently I didn't download it properly. Now you'll notice when it reaches the top this time, that I3 goes off and the door stops going. So I don't have a fire this time. So now I've got one other thing to do, and that is when I hit the open button, it continues to go up. That there. And the way that I do that is I use this output as an input right there. So I put in another rung right here, and right here. And this time I label this, and as you can see, my typing is not good today. O:2/0 right there. So now what happens is, as long as this, once I start this, it will continue to run. It latches that there. But then as soon as I reach the top, it will stop it right there. So I go ahead and I download it. And I tell it to run right there. And I got a problem here because it's at the top. That there. So I need to I have no way of bringing it down. Right there. If I hit the open button, it won't do anything because it's already open right there. So I need to, before I do anything, I need to go ahead and do the down motor. So let's go ahead and put in our button for down right there. And this is I1/01, and this is O:2/01. All right, now I can at least bring it down and show that the up works right there. So again, we go through here. I don't know why it forces you to do the download. Actually, it's simulated in real life, because in real life you would have to take your laptop out to the PLC, plug it into the PLC, and hit the download button on the PC to download it into the PLC. The PLC has to be in program mode when you do that, and then on the PLC you would go to the run mode. Right. Now we also have a step mode where we can go through and do one rung at a time and see what's going on. I'm going to kind of skip through that right now. So at this point we hit the run right here. Yeah. Well, I will here in a minute. That there. Yeah, I'm just going to show that the up works. So I'll just stop it before it gets to the bottom. So, and program download. And as you can see, it's going down. And as he mentioned before, I didn't put in the relays. I didn't put in the sensor. Yeah, the sensor there. So, but now when I hit the open button, you'll notice that it goes all the way to the top and it stops right there. Because that sensor is active right there. So that there. Now this particular one actually shows it's active here. Let's go ahead and put in that sensor here, in that there. So let's go back to here. Let's go ahead and put in the sensor here to. So this is I:1/04, and that way I don't burn it up with right there. And run. So now when I hit the close button, all right, now it doesn't close this time because this one happens to be a normally open or closed switch. So I have to go back to this right here, and I have to change this to a normally closed switch. Yeah, and when is it normally open and when is it normally closed? It all depends on the hardware you buy. So evidently, the person who bought these sensors for the top and the bottom bought two different sensors, right? So actually, this is a sensor that when the gate goes past it, the sensor pops out and closes the switch. This one here, as the sensor comes down, when it pushes in and opens the switch. So they're the same switch actually. It's just the way that they operate. So as it goes up the top, as it comes up the top, the switch goes like this, right there. So it's like this, and then it goes like this. When it comes down the bottom, it's like this, and then pushes it this way. So it's the same switch right there. Now, I don't have a physical switch, but you can kind of see as I go down, I push the switch open. When I open the gate, the switch closes right there. So they're actually the same switch right there. But because of the way that they work, this one I have to tell is a normally closed switch. So as I whip it around, download it, and run. So I can hit the close, it closes, it gets all the way to the bottom, and you'll see that the switch then opens right there, and we don't burn it up. We're almost done with this particular problem here, because now the only thing we need to do is put the latch in, and then we need to handle the stop button right there. So right now, let's just go ahead and put the latch in right there. And again, it's the same type of latch right here. Oh, I need to. All right. What is going on here? Evidently, there. So O:2/1. So now if I run this, I can hit the open button, it opens. You'll notice that the close button will cause a problem. So we got to deal with that right now, because it's going up. So the up button and the down motor are trying to run simultaneously. That will cause a problem. So as we open, it opens fine. Right there. And once it's all the way to the top, I can hit the close that there, and it closes all the way. Again, if I try to open it, it causes a fire right there. So we need to fix those. I mean, it looks done, but we've got some other issues that we need to work with that there. And we also have no way of stopping it. Now, once I hit the open button, it's going to open all the way. Right. I can't do anything other than start a fire. The stop button doesn't do anything. Right there. Right. We need to put the stop button right here in series with each of these. And we also need to put in series the other motor right there. So let's go back to our program right here. Let's go ahead and put the stop button in. The stop button's easy to put in. So let's just go ahead and put in, and again, I can't tell. This is showing it as red. That may just be the red. We haven't put the LEDs in either. No, so I mean, we're not quite done, and I may leave for the assignment for you to finish it. No, in other words, you program. We've got the ajar, which means that it's halfway between open and close. And we can tell that by looking at the switches that they're the open. We can look at the top switch and tell whether it's open. We can look at the bottom switch and tell whether it's closed. That there. So those are those LEDs that there. But we need to go ahead and put in our stop button. Again, I'm going to put it in right here, and I'm going to. And that's I:1/02. Now, I'm not going to finish it yet. I just want to make sure that's the right one, because I may have to change that to a normally closed right there. I think this is the right one right there. We'll see. So let's flip it over. Actually, download, run. First we need to close it, because we didn't put it on the close cycle. Run, so right there. So then when I hit the open button, if I hit the stop, it momentarily stops it right there. And when it stops it momentarily, that breaks this connection here. So I can close it at this point. Now the stop button does nothing on close yet because I haven't put it in there yet. But open, I can, any place that I want to, I can hit the stop button and stop it from opening any further. Right. So that's how we put the stop button in. So let's go ahead and put it in down here. I:1/2. Now we haven't solved the problem with the two motors yet. We'll do that next. That there. So if we run this, and I'm deliberately going through many cycles of editing and running, so as you watch the video, you can, figure out how to do that. Right there, download it. So if I shut the door, close the door, it closes. And then I can stop it right there. I can continue closing it. I can stop it, and I can open it right there. I can stop it. I can close it. Now I still have the problem if I hit the open button, I burn it up. So I need to put that in there too, as well. So I can stop it and then change direction, but I have to stop it first. So the way that we do that is that we go ahead and we put in, as they normally close. Let's try this first here. O:2/1. I put the other motor in there, and I'm going to change that. Oh, what happened there? All right, did I break something here? All right, what happened here? Okay, what happened there? Oh. Let's try closing or opening again. All right, I haven't lost it up there, so. All right. I think this needs to be normally closed right there, but we'll see. If it doesn't work, then we know to change it. Now, some of this is just trial and error. So let's go through here and download it. And let's open it. Oh, I forgot to hit the run button. Opening it, so it opens fine. Now if I hit the closed right there, well, that's interesting. So it's opening. If I hit the close, now notice what happens here is it stops before it closes and shuts that off. So it looks like it just changed its direction right there. So that works perfectly fine like that there. So I just need to implement that on the other one. So again, we just go back here. We stop this. And we place in series with this. And this is the up motor, O:2/00, right there. So now I've got almost a complete working system, right? You know, everything's, you know, I've gone through and I've added everything step by step there. And again, I don't have slides for this. A little bit of, you know, this is what engineering's about. You have to figure out what you need to do using the tools we've got that there. So now if I go back here and I download this and I hit run, if I hit the open button, it didn't. My mouse and my fingers don't always get that there. So I hit the open button, it opens. The stop button allows me to stop anywhere. I can continue opening. If I want to close it, I hit the close button at this point. And why didn't it close that there? I must not hit it. So if I hit the open, something's not working right. Close. All right, what did I screw up here? That, Oh, this one here? We'll try it. And then when I do that, I lose it. Open. Oh, this one needs to be. Let's change this one here. Okay, now let's try it again here. Download. And it's not the first time I've made this mistake here. So let's close it. Open. The stop works fine. All right. This is almost kind of confusing here, is that this motor can't be running If we hit close, that's closing it right there. You know, instead of using the motor, what I probably ought to do is use the switch. Right there. Let's use the switch instead of the motor. Right there. So this is that there. So let's change this to the I:1/01. That's the close switch. So if I push that button, I will stop that motor. In here, I will change this one to the other switch. :1/00. Right there. Let's try that. So it behaves the same as the stop button right there. So open, close, open. Yeah, okay. So use the switch, not the motor. Right there. Open, close. Okay. So using the switch instead of the motor works better. And again, those are the things you try. You probably ought to try it more on a simulator than you do a real door. You don't want to burn up the motors too much. But sometimes you go out on the floor and you discover you made a mistake, and you may not burn the motor up, but you'll hear some bad things happening. So you hit the stop button. So this thing is completely done other than the lights right there. So now we need the lights there. And the lights are relatively simple. The open light, we can just use this right here. Because when it's open all the way, this particular switch goes right there. So to do the open light, and before I do that, okay, close the program. Let's go ahead and put in a examine if closed, put that in, and then put in a output right here. And this one's easy. I:1/0. This is the input switch. I:1/03. That's what's happening to me. And when I think it's disappearing, it's just going up off the screen right there. And then over here, this is the LED, and that is O:2. O:2/03. So now if I run it, oh, that's supposed to be a normally closed. Right. So we flip it back. Download it and run it again. Now if we open it once it opens all the way, the light should come on. Right there, the open light comes on. We do the same thing with the closed, right, shut, and we're using this one here. Now that one should be the normally open one right there. So we go ahead and put that one in. that is O:2/04. And I:1/04. And what did I do there? 1:1/04. Okay, I said 104. So now if I run this, hopefully it works right. Run. Now it shows this open right there, and I think I've got a mistake here. Because that's the open light, 03. Yeah, no, that's right. It's open all the way. Yeah, close it first. Right there. And the shut light comes on. So the jar, we have to assume, is somewhere in between. So if this one is not closed and this one is open or not open, then the jar is there. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put these two in parallel right here. And then we're going to insert a branch right there. And we're going to place here. So this is I:1/3. So if this one here is closed, is open, in other words, right there, it's open right there. So if it's not open, then this branch is going to get there. And actually, I think we probably want these in series, thinking about it. Yeah, I think they need to be in series. And I want to delete that run with the delete key. Yeah. So this I:1/4, and this is O:2/02. All right. If I've got everything right, this should be a completed project, right? Right now it's shut. I hit the open button. Now it's ajar at this point. If I stop it right here, it stays ajar. That tells me that the door is not open or closed. I hit the open button, it goes all the way to the top. And now the open light comes on. So I can tell by looking at the three lights whether it's open, closed, or somewhere in between. Right there. And this pretty much right here is our complete project. There's no way I can burn the motor up. No, that's the important thing. There's no way I can burn the motor up. While it's closing, if I hit the open button, it goes back to open. If I hit the stop button, it stops in between, right there. If it's closed all the way and I hit the close button again, it doesn't burn up the motor. See, because the relay keeps the motor from coming on. The shut light comes on. If I hit the open, I hit the close, it just simply reverses direction like what we would want it to do. Right there. It turns off the other motor before it turns on this motor. Right there. So this is a complete working project right there, as it is right there. So right there. This is the ladder diagram for it. Now keep in mind that you're going to be given some problems like this on the final exam where you're going to be given a problem. We'll work some more of these out there, but for today, this is really what I wanted to cover today. So Thursday, there's no class. Between now and Thursday, I'll put up a small assignment for you to come up with. And it may just be doing this, just completing this yourself and submitting a little video of it working right there. So I will go ahead, well, I don't need to because it's on the video. You can get a picture of this right there. So you can see what it looks like. But this is the complete right here. These are all my outputs. I've got, if you look at the picture right here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outputs right there. And here I've got 5 rungs, 1 for each of the 5 outputs right there. So this is the up motor, the down motor. I think this is what the open light, the closed shut light, and the ajar light right there. Those are the 3 lights right there. So those are our 5. So we've got 1 rung for each motor, and generally, or each output right there. I use outputs as inputs whenever I need to latch. So in these 2 cases, these are the motor being used as a latch, so I don't have to hold that button closed. If anybody's ever opened a garage door or a door of any type, the whole idea of holding the button closed when you at there, kind of like if you've got a car with electric windows, the driver's side's got the latch and the logic, but the passenger side, the other door windows don't. So it's that's the same concept right there. This right here shows me the status of all the various inputs at this particular point in time. In other words, if I go back and I look here, this door is open. This is showing this output is active, right? So now I can't change them here because it's not in run mode. But as I'm going through and I'm running this software, as it's running, if I hit the open button or close button, you'll notice that the close, this shows what output there. If I hit the stop button right there, this shows that the ajar light. So this also shows you what outputs are active. Because to be honest, most of the time when you're in industry and you're doing one of these, you don't have a picture to work with. You only have this over here. This is just kind of cute to have this here, and we'll go through another one of these well before the final. That there, because a good portion of the final is on. I think it was what 2 out of 5 problems. It's going to be doing PLC designs, right there. So, right there, I think one I give you the design. I actually finished the finals exams. I haven't submitted them yet, right there, but the final exams I finished up that there. So, and the bad thing about finishing the finals is I got a bad habit of giving you too many hints. That there. But 3 of the problems are going to come out of the robotics discussion. 2 of them are going to come out of this right here. And what you'll have to do is kind of go through, and you're going to have to know how to do some ladder diagrams and explain to me what's happening in the ladder diagrams right there. So this is probably the best introduction to doing a ladder diagram. I like the software. I wouldn't want to use it for a real industrial project unless someone else did all the drawings right there. I haven't seen that there. If you look at the simulations, there's about, there's a number of these where we got elevators. We've got right there. We've got The one I like right here is the silo, right there, where we go through, and I may go through and do that. Now, this particular software actually, if you get the full version, you get all these. If you download the shareware version, you only get the Doors input right there. If you after 50 minutes, that's about my normal 50, between 50 and 60 minutes.